hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So you just walked into the bike shop. What's your name?
Hunter.
Hunter. What's going on, Hunter?
Just rolled into town.
Yeah, like literally rolling into town. So you're one of the, you're a traveler. Is that what they call you guys?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You jump on. So the bike shop here is located close to a train terminal, right? Or like a train.
Willow Springs, yeah.
Yeah. What is it? What is that technically?
That's like
it's a yard.
Yeah, it's like the intermodal facility. So it's like where a bunch of the like stack container trains roll through there from BNSF.
Get the mic a little bit closer to your mouth. Yeah. There you go. So the BNSF arrives there, and that's where they unload a lot of the trains, right?
Mostly the like 18-wheeler cars are taken off there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know the system really well. Hold on. I'm going to try and make you a little more comfortable. Can you pull this off real quick, Isa? So this is...
Oh, thanks.
There you go, man. Sit down. Make yourself comfortable. Take a load off. You got a long day ahead of you.
Yeah. A long ride.
So, you Hunter, so you catch trains and travel the country or mostly Midwest?
South and Midwest mostly.
Yeah. And you've got a bike with you. You've got you rolled in here on a bicycle. You got a Bianchi out there? Or
it's a Raleigh.
It's a
like
Raleigh.
I'm pretty sure it's like a children's like trainer road bike.
And
it's like 1 inch too small for me probably, but
24-inch wheels.
24-inch wheels.
Right? Yeah. I saw that out there.
I got it in Minneapolis for like $50 with like all the original parts on it and everything. Like the person just did not know what they had. We're just like, oh, my kid doesn't ride this anymore. And I was like, well.
And were you up there? Did you take a train up there too?
Yeah.
Wow. So what is your home base?
Usually New Orleans, kind of. Trying to shift more towards Kansas City, Minneapolis. I roll through Chicago a lot.
Yeah. Have you been here before? Because I've run into people jumping off trains and coming over here a lot.
I mean, there's a lot of us that ride with bikes. And I've been told about this bike shop before too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because like people are like, oh, you get off in Willow Springs and go get your bike fixed up.
Okay, yeah, because I've helped people out before, and kind of like this, it's like whenever you guys are coming through, I'm always kind of excited to see you guys because I know what you're doing. You're jumping on train, you're catching these trains somewhere.
Yeah,
I've heard Kansas City before, and then so tell me about the mechanics of doing that. So you camp out in a yard and wait for the right train.
Yeah, you're just waiting. Most of riding trains is just waiting.
And do you have to hide? I imagine that they're on the lookout for you guys, right?
I mean, they're more so like doing their job, and like they're not really.
They don't mess with you.
They're not looking for us.
Okay.
But if you're like in plain sight, they'll like say something. But like sometimes you can walk right past a worker and they don't even know that you're there because they're just like so.
Into what
in the zone of like whatever they're checking or whatever they're doing that you're like not on their radar most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just got to find like an open train or something, or like an open car or something, or is there a specific type of car that you guys like to jump
with
into?
A bike I like to get, there's like a well you can like sit in, and that's where I like to find a well that's like deep enough for a bike to like be mostly hidden in it. Yeah. I was like on one ride before where I put my bike on a separate ride from me. This is in Havre, and the train got broken up, and like a worker saw my bike and was like, it was a Trek 800 that I had gotten from Denver. And it was like perfect. Like I got it from like a pawn shop, and like it was all tricked out. It was like super nice. And I like took it on the train with me back to Minneapolis. A worker saw it in Havre and was just like, oh, this is a nice bike. I wonder if the person who owns it is still on the train. And I'm like literally on the ride over, like hiding, like, oh. No. And then we like the train stopped a couple times before we got to Minneapolis, and like me and all my friends were like running up and down the train, like looking for my bike, like where'd it go? And they must have taken it.
Oh,
yeah,
crap.
And I'm like, they don't even know. Like, I doubt that person even knows how good of a bike that was.
Mm-hmm. Holy cow.
Yeah.
And so are you guys? You're exposed when you're out there? Like, are you like in a sleeping bag? So when you say it's a well of a train.
Yeah, it's like you're like in the open.
You're in the open.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you throw, like a sleeping bag over yourself or something?
Most people have like a little tarp or something, and yeah, you just kind of are exposed to the elements most of the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You ever get inside a car, or is that dangerous to actually be inside a box or something?
Yeah.
You know, you got that old image of like
the box car.
Like
yeah,
those box cars?
I mean, yeah, sometimes there's open box cars, but those are like way slower trains, and that, you know, there's people who like ride trains as like a lifestyle, and I kind of ride them just to like get places.
It's just transportation for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least for me, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm more of a traveler than like a train rider, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like,
so this is one of those subtleties that I'm not aware of. So there's I mean, you guys are just using it for transportation, but then there are people who it's a lifestyle for them, right? To like live on these trains and like
figure out like all the nerdy shit, like ins and outs of like every yard and like the symbols of the trains and all these things. Like, I have like an idea of what that is, but
there are people that like do
that's
that.
like their thing.
That's their thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's not your thing.
No, not particularly. I'm definitely way more bike core than train core, but then I take bikes on trains.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like this intermodal thing, right?
Yeah.
Except you're doing it like to the max. You're not doing like you're not getting a train pass and traveling somewhere to do bike touring.
I've taken this bike with me. I usually have I had a specialized rock hopper that treated me really well for a couple years.
Jeez, Hunter, you know your bike stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, you are a bike guy.
Yeah.
Like you know the difference between, like, some people show up here and they're not real bike people. I mean, they have a bike.
Yeah.
But it's like somebody set them up with a bike, or it's falling apart. But you seem to know your bike stuff. Yeah.
I was trying to travel this time with another Trek 800 that I had found. I had found the frame, and it was just like every single part on it was completely rusted out from being in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And so I completely stripped the bike, and I was trying to rebuild the frame or build off of the frame in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first time using a co-op, just a co-op's material to try to build the bike. Oh,
gotcha, yeah.
And it just takes so long, finding all. It took me I spent 2 hours looking for brakes, and none of them even really fit, you know?
Yeah, it can be tricky.
Yeah. But that was my goal, was to have that bike with me. But I took this one, which I wasn't ever really planning to travel with.
Mm-hmm.
Because those 24 tires, I don't know.
And that skinnier tire is a little tricky, and that size.
I love a fat tire too.
Yeah.
I don't like the skinnier tires really.
Yeah, that's the traditional way to do it is with 26-inch. 26-inch tubes and tires are the easiest thing to find in the world.
Yeah.
That's why people,
well, the
use
thing
that.
The reason why it took me so long to get the other bike going, that's probably the same. That Bianchi is probably the same size as mine.
Yeah, same. Well, it's even harder.
That's a 700s, huh?
Yeah, it's a 650C. 650. So it's even weirder.
Wow.
Yeah, skinnier tire. Yeah, it's an old Bianchi.
I would hate that.
It's horrible. You wouldn't be able to find tubes or tires for any of that.
That's
stuff.
what I'm worried about these guys too. I'm are there 24 tubes out in the world?
Yeah, there are. I'll give you one. You know what? For doing the podcast, I'll give you one before you split.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, I should have. I'll take a look and see.
Yeah,
if
I was just going kind
of
crazy on that other build out that I was doing. I wanted to do a free wheel flip, back wheel free wheel on both sides. But one cassette being 16 teeth and one being 14.
Oh wow!
So that way I could adjust my gears that way and have the least amount of wires.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out the whole disc brake situation, because I have friends that ride with disc brakes on trains, but then one of my sweeties who lives in Columbus and builds out bikes, they build out at a warehouse.
Yeah.
And they're they make us wear gloves to touch the disc frame or the disc brakes because even the oils on your fingers will mess them up. And I'm just well, maybe they shouldn't go on trains, but so many people do.
Yeah.
So I feel that's going to be my next step too, is my big dream is disc brakes with on the front.
Uh-huh.
And then probably like a V brake in the back just to make it easy. But like the flip.
Yeah,
freewheel.
I mean, like to keep it easy for you, I would do just cantilever brakes, front and rear, 26-inch wheel, like a 26 by 1.5 or 2.0 street tire.
That's like the side pull brake. The cantilever is the side.
It's just the one that pulls up in the middle, or a V brake, something cable, because the disc brakes are a pain in the ass, and
Yeah,
it's just
I just want the least amount of cables as possible.
Yeah, I mean,
then like
you have to keep it simple.
Yeah,
I mean, but you know, like as you've learned now, you need some sort of gear. You need some sort of gearing system. You know, I mean, you're going to encounter hills here and there. So
totally.
7 by 3
or even
by
like
7,
having the front chain ring like with a couple gears on it and just a tensioner to like, and then I would like
you could do a 1 by
adjust stuff. Do
a 1 by 1 by 9.
Yeah,
real something simple and cheap to fix.
Yeah, totally.
You could totally do something up. Hold on a second because I'm actually at the shop and they're all looking for stuff.
Well, there's a whole crew out there.
I had a big group out doing a mountain bike ride. So
wow, sick.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, they come out every year and rent out most of the rental bikes, and then they go out and kill it.
Yeah, that's so sick. That's definitely a goal too, because I'll just like use my bike to get to the next like train spot or like bus spot or whatever, but I want to be like get off a train and immediately go on a gravel path and just like ride for weeks.
Hold that thought, all right?
All right.
Hello, I'm Katie Lonke. You're listening to the Bills Shop Society podcast.
So how long are you going to be in town? How long do you plan to? So you're in Chicago now. You're coming from Kansas City right now?
Yeah, probably like a week or so.
Get that mic up.
Oh, probably like a week or so.
A week?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's usually how long I stick around a spot.
Okay. Yeah. Rolling Stone gathers no moss. Isn't that what they say? So you're going to hang out here in Chicago, Humboldt Park area. You said you got some friends here. And
probably downtown a good bit this weekend. And
is there something specific you're coming into town for? Or is it just kind of hang out a little bit?
Yeah, I just roll through. It's a good roll through spot.
And then what's your next destination? What are you thinking?
I'm trying to figure out going to New York. Definitely like East Coast. Yeah, I keep like trying to figure out how to get my hands on like a really nice mountain bike or like finally finishing building out something. I have like a Peugeot on the East Coast. That I haven't touched in a while.
So it's out on the East Coast? It's parked in somebody's garage or something? Really? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I built that out like 3 years ago. And then a friend rode it last year and they said it was a really good ride for them, but it was too small because they're like a regular sized person and I'm like 5 feet tall.
Yeah. You need a touring bike. You need something. You need, the ideal thing for you, small 26-inch, like a 26-inch mountain bike.
Yeah.
With a rack on it. Just a little bit more upright.
Yeah, I want to get this off my back. Like I have friends who have like all their stuff, like, the triangle bag and the front rack and the back rack and the little side bags and stuff. And I don't know if I want to get that, geared out. Like I still kind of want a little backpack on, but a triangle bag definitely is in my future. And
I think it'll give you a little bit of independence, for being able to like, you're in a situation right now where you're in Willow Springs. You actually stopped here because you're trying to catch a train. I wouldn't have seen you had you caught the bus.
Yeah, right.
If you were able to catch a bus here in town.
They just didn't stop either.
Yeah, they didn't stop. They saw you and they're like, no way, I don't want any piece of that dude. And they just blew right by you. I mean, and I like, they shouldn't because they have the bike rack up there. It's a public bus. Like they should have picked you up, but I bet they just blew by you because they didn't like the looks of you.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it must happen all the time. It sucks.
Which is why I like having a bike too. But this definitely is just not my.
No,
this is just the bike that I had. This isn't really the bike that I wanted to travel with.
Yeah, it's suburban Chicago and all that stuff too. I mean, yeah, it's just it's a tricky situation, but if you had the right bike, it'd be really easy to kind of get where you needed to get. You know?
The friend that I was just riding with had like I think a 10-speed, which the thing with that is it's just so heavy, and then we're just like. I guess it's like an older,
old like Schwinn 10-speed. Yeah, those things are tanks, man.
And we were like, there needs to be two of us to like get it up on the train. And I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do when you're alone?
That's right, because you've got to lift these things. You got to put these things on a train.
Yeah, which is why I took this little one too.
Yeah, you need something compact, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
or just light, but not too light, because I had a friend that had a Cannondale that they were taking on the train with them, and it just like literally bent in half.
They bent it. They broke it. Yeah.
Because it's just too light.
You need a nice old steel mountain bike. That 800 or that 820 that you had kicking around was like that was the perfect bike for you.
Well, I still have the 800 still in Kansas City. Just one day, hopefully I'll get back there at some point this summer and can finish building it out. That Specialized rock hopper was like the golden ticket.
That was a nice.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like a 15-inch, 14-inch.
I ovaled the headset like way too many times. I had it like refabricated and ovaled it again, and then rethreaded and like ovaled it again. So I was just like, I don't know.
Dude.
Maybe I'm just too rough on this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We should be able to. I wish I had an old frame laying around here, like in your size, because they do come through every once in a while. Because
yeah, they're just hard to find too. That's
set you up with something.
Yeah, I have friends who are just like always finding like sick bikes for themselves, and I'm just like, oh, if I was like 4 inches taller, I would not have this issue.
Well, you just got to, you got to park it. You need a little time. Because you're also just bouncing around. Because if you
that's what happened. Yeah, I was only able to work on that bike in Kansas City for like 3 days. or 4 days or something like that.
If you had a week or 10 days around here, I'm sure I could score something for you, or I could find something. I just got to poke around a little bit and see, see what's
people love doing that. Like all the bike people that I talk to around the country, they're just like, oh, a small frame. Like I want to find a small frame for you.
Well, I mean,
it's fun.
Well, because
fun for everyone.
We all want to get out of the bike shop, right? I mean, it's like we live vicariously through you guys. You're actually out there, and we know that bike's going to be put to good use. It's going towards we work on bikes all day long that are rarely ridden to their max, or people don't do very much with them, but to know that bike is going to go somewhere and it's going to be used the way that it was designed to be used, or even more so like by someone like you, we're always, and we've been in a lot of us have been in a pinch on our bikes, so we're always like eager to help people on bikes. It's like for me, it's always kind of cool when I run into you guys, and you guys are, I don't know where you're headed, but if the bike part, I'll try to get that better for you guys, because I know it's a little, I know it can be a little bit tough. So how's your bike running right now? The ones you got?
It's okay. I remembered that I had bent the, what do they call it? Like it's just around the front chain ring, like the cover or something. It's all steel. And there's a little dent in it.
Okay.
That I had bent out, but I think maybe just now on the train it bent back a little more.
You bent it back. It
doesn't fuck up the chain or anything.
It's the chain guard.
Yeah, the chain guard. That's it. Yeah. The chain stays on. It doesn't kick it off or anything, but it just makes a sound. And it's fine actually.
Yeah.
But it's not a long rider for me because of just the geometry of it is not.
Yeah, it's a goofy little bike to be traveling around the country with, because you get a flat in the wrong place, you tear that tire up. You're basically ditching the bike.
Yeah, literally.
Because you're not gonna you're not gonna find one. So
I'm definitely planning to leave it here whenever I head on to the next spot and pick up another bike along the way. That's kind of my goal, is to have a bike in every city. And that way, if I can't travel with one, whenever I get where I'm going, there's a bike waiting for me.
Yeah. Hey, Tom. Oh, we're surrounded by employees over here. Tom, this is Hunter.
Okay.
Hunter is here from Kansas City. As you know, we have a train yard down the way by the UPS station, and he catches the trains and travels the country on these.
Hobo style?
Like hobo style, yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
But with a bike.
Oh, wow. Advanced hobo. He was deluxe hobo.
Yeah, modern hobo.
There you go.
The modern American hobo.
Rock on.
Yeah, there's a bunch of us out there with bikes and on trains.
So that's how you got to Chicago, and that's how you get around the whole country, huh? Well, that saves a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like you can choose when you get off, though. I mean, you kind of have to stay on until it stops, right? Because duck and roll just doesn't work, does it?
No, not with a bike.
Not with a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know the train schedules around the country. So they know which trains, which trains to jump on, and you can identify them now by the way that they obviously with the.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows the look of the car. So some are freight trains, and other ones are
they're like junk trains or like intermodal trains. So or just like some of them are like domestic or international, and you just like.
And so the ones. Yeah. So how does that work with the how do you know that one's headed to Chicago?
Mostly you can just like follow. There's like train lines. So there's like the Transcontinental Railroad. That's like one of the most trafficked lines. And you're like, oh, if it's heading east, it's going to Chicago. If you're on the Transcon, that's where it has to go.
And how many people? Like on the train that you you rolled into Chicago on. Yeah. How many other people were on that train?
I mean, I know of at least one, but there's probably, it goes from Amarillo or from LA to Chicago. So like people usually get off before, no one really holds it down that whole entire time. But like there could have been someone that got on in Amarillo and held it down until Chicago. I don't know.
So like when you got on the train, let's say in Kansas City, did you ride it straight through to Chicago? Or were there any, no stops at all?
No, it was it was like one of the fastest trains I've ever been on, actually.
Oh, okay. Was this was a freight train? Was it unloaded or something? How are you able to do that? I mean, are there empty cars or are you just...
It's like the containers that they're held in. So like the train car has like the stack containers, and there's like the train car has like a spot that you go on.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're exposed then?
Yeah. That's what I was just telling him. Yeah.
Wow.
And our bikes are exposed.
Well, I'm not so worried about the bikes, but my inner mother wants to say, I hope you wore a warm jacket.
Oh yeah, it was cold.
Yeah,
it was a lot. I was like sweating in Kansas City, and I was like, oh, I don't even need my sleeping bag, and I left my sleeping bag.
Yeah, he says he looks for an open well where he can tuck himself into and pull his bike into.
Yeah.
Like, so big enough for that. So there's these, we were talking earlier, and there are freight cars. There's the box cars.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of hobo. Those guys are like lifestyle, traveling.
Yeah, people who they'll catch any, they get on anything. Like whatever's passing, whatever's stopping, they'll get on it. But
those are the guys with that the songs are written about, right?
I'm more like trying to find the fast trains and get where I'm going. Okay. Yeah.
So you're a hobo commuter as opposed to the hobo lifestyle.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys ever run into each other and swap stories around the campfire, or is that just a romantic image?
No, that's
past?
definitely what we do the majority of our lives.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. It's people's movement is really driven by where everyone else is at.
Is this how you learn the ins and outs of how the train system works?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Most of the time you're waiting for a train, calling 3 friends, just being is it gonna stop here? Does it really stop here? And they're like, yeah, 2 months ago I got it there, but a month ago someone else got it here, and but a week ago someone else got it over there. So,
I mean, this isn't the kind of information you could pick up off of a schedule on the internet, for example. Right?
No. Yeah. All right. Unless you work for the railroad. If you have any friends that work for the railroad, let me know.
You know what? I do have a friend.
Well, don't let them know that we're out here. But just
no.
Curious.
You know what? He's actually a really good friend. And if there is information to be had, he could get it for us.
Yeah, totally.
And I think he'd be cool. Like he's a bike guy. Yeah. So I think he would be really happy to give you any tips and tricks.
He lives here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah.
I know another bike a bike guy conductor for CSX down south.
Oh,
he's really cool. He has Bluetooth shifters on his bike, and he's this is what the railroad gets you.
yeah. From what I hear, it is what the railroad gets you. I will. We'll exchange information before you split.
Yeah.
But if I can be of any help that way, bike guys are always eager to help bike guys. So.
Yeah, and we'll be there. I'll probably be back and forth from Kansas City and Chicago a good bit over the next, I don't know, season or so.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this? How long has this been your lifestyle and your thing?
I've been traveling since 2018.
So this is like you're 5 years into this.
Yeah.
Like you're just bouncing around.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you, like, what's the longest stay you've had in one place during that time? Like that you've parked it?
Probably either Minneapolis or New Orleans for like 4 or 5 months.
The rest of the time it's just been you moving around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's an impressive feat to be that. I mean, you don't have a home base of operation, do you? Or do you?
Not so much. But I have like a lot of home base. You know, like there's
okay.
not like a
so
main
you've made
spot,
a lot of
but I have
friends
like,
out
yeah.
there. Okay.
And a lot of us take care of each other and stuff. And
that helps a lot.
the bike, like literally the bike riding train community who's like also like queer is like very small. Like it'll be like narrow, you know, and we all kind of know each other at that point.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love the sound of that. I do love the sound of that. If all else fails, do you have like a mom and dad somewhere you could crash with? No,
absolutely not.
Okay. All right, so you are free floating
Yeah.
and just out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
But we have friends who've like, you know, been doing this for like a decade and they're like retired, you know, at like 30.
Wow.
And they're like,
so you don't have an apartment, you don't have any bills.
no, I
You
have a phone bill.
You have a phone bill. Okay. So okay.
And a bike bill. That's like also where I'm like,
okay.
At one point I was making a bunch of money. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with all this money? And I was like, oh, I'm just going to get a nice bike.
Well, you know, if you're a traveler, then that's a wise investment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems like you should have bikes in various towns.
I do. Yeah. That's what I was just telling him. Like, that's kind of one of my goals is to just like have a bike. I have one in Columbus, Atlanta, New York, Minneapolis. Oh, I guess this is my Minneapolis bike with me right now, but
So,
Kansas City.
Here's an off the wall question. Do they have names? I mean, do you?
No, I actually haven't named any of them because I just like to call them by their like, you know, because they're all different. Like I have like a Specialized Rockhopper and a Peugeot and a Raleigh and a Trek. So like I just call them by their like.
All right, they already have names.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I inherited a bike years ago. It must have been some team bike. It had somebody's name on it. It was called Opie, and so it was Opie forever because you know somebody had taken some touch-up paint and written the name Opie on it, and so it was Opie. I did not erase that touch-up paint, and since then, you know, my bike and the other side that has a little chain that my Aunt Mary gave me. Mm-hmm. I have it on the stem as sort of like a protective totem, and that's Mary over there.
Cute.
So you know. Think about it.
Yeah,
if they have a personality trait, maybe, you know, name them after somebody. If they give you trouble, name them after an ex.
Yeah, totally.
I'll, you know what? I'll look around. I'll see if we have anything because that, like I said, that the bike that you're riding out there, it's a 24-inch wheel Raleigh bike. It's not the ideal.
It's like kid's first road bike, or something.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
and it's just those tires and tubes are really hard to find, and it's probably a tricky bike to maintain. You know, if you're out there on the open road. So have you mentioned the working bikes? Is a place that you might find community also. It's a not-for-profit bike shop that collects bikes and distributes them to third world countries, you know, Africa, Central America, South America, that kind of thing. And they also do a lot of community stuff. They have, as far as I know, they have a weekly, like, queer-focused, women-focused bike instructional seminars you can go to where it's, you know, it's a safe space to learn about machines. Definitely look them up. They're on Western Avenue and 24th Street, I think.
That's like in Chicago, like in the city?
It is in Chicago,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So,
well, that's
you know,
where I'm
you
trying
have
to get to.
Okay,
so.
well, if you do, it's on the south side, so
south
it's not
side,
like the cool part of Chicago, but it's a very cool shop, and they're super nice over there.
What's the name of it again?
It's called Working Bikes.
Working Bikes. Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, and I can put you in touch with somebody there.
Sweet.
Our friend Gabe works down there, and we donate a bunch of stuff to them, so he'd probably be happy to give you a hand. Yeah. We know a lot of people in the bike world in Chicago. We know a lot of people. So I mean, if you're going to be here for the next week or 10 days, maybe we can put the call out and try to find you something proper to ride around on.
That'd be super sick.
There's you know what? There's so many spare parts and things laying around that I have. If I had the right frame, I had no problem.
Yeah, if I would have just taken that. I was about to just take that truck with me, even though it wasn't like fully functional. And I was like, damn, I should probably have some brakes to take a bike somewhere. But
brakes really, I mean, I know they just slow you down, but sometimes you really need that.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to stop.
Oh man, well, thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for like talking to us a little bit. We'll exchange information and let you get on your way. And thanks for hanging out and talking to us, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I love learning about it. And no, I'm serious. If I can get you some information and we can help you, bike wise, we will.
That'd be so sweet. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. I'm glad I got a chance to chat.
Yeah, me too.
All right, man.
Good walking in.
Take it easy.